Welcome to another episode of Blockchain Chronicles, which is being produced by the team at Metrix. My name's Trent Richards, and today I'm going to be your host. Joining me today is my mate Mike Hu from Vendit. Welcome, buddy.
Hey, how are you doing, Trent?
I'm doing well. So for those that don't know, the new series that we're doing in Blockchain Chronicles, our aim is to share some good quality content with anything blockchain or crypto related. So with that being said, we wanted to get Mike on and have a chat to Mike a little bit more about himself and his background and what's going on with Vendit. So Mike, maybe if you can just start a little bit with your background.
Sure. So I came from, just entrepreneurship, on my own business for the last 10, 12 years. I lose count these days. So that business has more to do with fashion tech. Now, given I'm all about the technologies and I love technologies that kind of disrupt the business, especially, ones that seem rather archaic or just kind of been the same for so many years. And that's kind of why I got into the fashion tech. But, when blockchain came around, that was a whole new other set of, just interest that just kind of grabbed my attention.
Yeah, for sure. And what was it really about the crypto world that got your interest?
Well, again, it's a technology that disrupts the current status quo. If you look at financial technologies these days, there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of untransparencies, for lack of a better way of saying it. And, when Bitcoin came around, it just kind of like opens my eyes completely, and I'm sure it opened up a lot of people's eyes. And it's just the way it's done it's genius. It's taking account of Adam's invisible hand theory of economics about mining and pricing and all that. It's incredible. So
it is. It's mind blowing, isn't it? It's just such a big space. Yeah. Okay. Well, what about Vendit? Like, where did Vendit come from? How does that solve problems in the crypto sphere?
Well, it all kind of got started when I was analyzing the space in general. When it was more of a hobby at the time. It was probably about 6 years ago, and I realized that what everyone's trying to do is create this mass adoption of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies, and I just came to the realization or the conclusion that there's just no way to do it from the outside. These financial institutions, they're all set in their ways, and they don't like someone from the outside trying to get them to do something that they're not really happy about. So realize the only way to really get adoption to happen is to actually do it from within the financial sphere, kind of get in with all the financial institutions, and then kind of slowly change their minds about cryptocurrencies and the advantages that it could provide for them. So that's kind of where it all started. And right now, past few years, we've been working slowly, with everything that's been happening, and just trying to get in to some of the financial institutions, mainly third world countries at the moment, because they have a need of just modernization of their financial technologies, but they don't have anyone that can really do it. And I figure if we come in there and we actually help them, give them what they want, and then really show them how there's better ways to do some of the things that some of the other first world countries are doing, then that'll be probably the best way to kind of bridge the gap between, cryptocurrency and the financial world currently.
Yeah, for sure. It's just such a huge area. And for the unbanked in these third world countries, what you could do for them is just insane.
Yeah. If you think about it, like, we take things for granted. For example, you can go to an ATM, any ATM at all, you use your check card or your debit card, you can pull cash out, right? It doesn't have to be your bank's ATM. It could be any ATM because they're all interconnected. Now, a lot of these third world countries don't have that. If you want to pull cash out, the only ATM you can go to is the one of your own bank, your own credit union. Now, a lot of these, these credit unions and banks in these third world countries, they want that, interconnectivity. that they lack. And it's not difficult to build. In fact, what we're selling them is actually quite straightforward. It's not something new like blockchain or cryptocurrencies. It's something that already exists in many of the first world countries. So, but there's so many better ways to do it using blockchain technology. But of course, we're kind of slowly easing that in to try to sell it to them. So we're giving them what they want, first and foremost, gain their trust, and then we provide them with a better solution, which of course in this case would be blockchain.
Yeah, for sure. Well, while we're on that, why don't we talk a little bit more about the actual products and services that Vendit does offer?
Sure. Well, there's kind of two folds to it. The first one's going to be kind of retail-based to clients, just normal users. We're developing a payment app that connects, merchants and financial institutions. Just what we call a currency agnostic payment app, where it doesn't matter it doesn't care what currency you want to pay with, and to the merchant, it doesn't matter what kind of currency they want to receive, because on a second level is sort of an exchange or platform where it instantly exchanges whatever currency the person paying wants to use, and then give it to the merchant or receiver of whatever currency they want to receive it in. So doing it this way will allow us to kind of be able to move more worldwide, where it doesn't really matter, like I said, the currency agnostic approach. And it's not just cryptocurrencies, it's fiat based as well. If you want to trade, US dollars to the British pound, that's the option is there. Or, if you want to receive your payments in Bitcoin, well, somebody sends you, euros, and that's fine too. So that's the second layer. The third layer is actually the cloud infrastructure of what connects all the banks. In fact, this is kind of borderline going to banking itself. But it's to, first of all, help a lot of these banks that are just kind of by themselves. That's why the ATM only works for their own clients, is to create a bank that kind of banks for them, that specifically uses modernized technology to kind of connect them all. And then that entity overall will handle all the blockchain technologies and all the new technologies that, each individually, they can't handle themselves or can't do themselves or don't know how to. So building that and having different these banks for banks all over the world. First of all, it's really easy to sell to them because they all want it.
Yeah, sure.
And once we build it, it's real easy to sell again, because we will make it so that they pretty much own the bank themselves first and foremost. And then it's just deploying the technology and duplicating the technology very easily for them, so they get what they want for almost very little in cost.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's just really interesting because I can relate exactly to what you're saying. I mean, I've grown up in first world countries, and most people know by now that I live in the Philippines. So I've gone from a first world to a third world, and everything you're talking about with the banking side, I mean, it just does my head in here. For me to bring money from Australia to the Philippines and then to get it out in cash in the Philippines, and even 1,000 peso note here, in Australia it's $30, in America it's $20. But if you have one of those notes here, you can't spend it anywhere because no one's got any change for it. It's too big. And you can't just go and swipe your iPhone. You can't swipe a QR code. I mean, none of that exists here. So I can really see firsthand what you're actually doing for the third world countries. I think it's just fantastic.
Yeah, well, thank you. That means it's a long road ahead. But, we're getting a lot of interest, and we're having some pretty good conversations with some major players. And our main targets right now is the Caribbean. And there's a lot of interest in it. But of course, like all, banks and credit unions, they're a little bit slow to move forward. But, we've been at this for a few years now, about 2 or 3, just really kind of face-to-face talk. Sometimes, last year hasn't been so much just because of, the pandemic. But, we're close. Dare I say it, but we're very close right now. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So who are the future clients do you see? Is it mainly in a demographic area, or is it more a specific type of client?
Well, again, we talked about the third world countries, the countries that kind of need some sort of interconnectivity between each other and to their clients. So right now, real merchants, real businesses, and those are going to be our core target. In fact, some of our clients will be other exchanges very easily. For example, I mean, Forex exchanges, I mean, that requires a certain particular license. So we may not be able to do that right off the bat unless we kind of connect to those kind of exchanges to do something like that, which, you know, it's not a bad thing because it allows us to be able to kind of move more internationally much quicker. So right now, I mean, we've kind of talked about, hammered it pretty hard there, but it's just, you know, just gathering all the people. I mean, we've got the merchants in place. I mean, we also want to do this, and not to change the subject, but kind of do this from a compliance standpoint, right? I know there's a lot of cryptocurrency companies out there that kind of just do it, and now they're running into a lot of trouble.
Yes.
So one of the things we're doing is we're working hand in hand with a lot of these banks and financial institutions to make sure that they're the ones sort of doing it and making sure that, you know, when we push forward, that we stay well within compliance of everything. For example, the bank for the banks going to be owned by them, along with probably the exchange, the local exchange that's going to be utilized that we're going to build that, you know, that converts everything in real time. So.
Okay, that you've pretty much answered my next question, but you might have a slightly different view as well. I was going to say that there are a lot of projects on the surface that look similar to Vendit. So what is it that actually differs you from the rest?
Well, the main thing is we're a real company. I don't really consider us a project. We're a legitimate established business and we're looking to have clients. And I know a lot of cryptocurrency is based on speculation, and we're not. We're trying not to be. It's all about, you know, getting the real companies and the real financial institutions on board before we can truly move forward with anything. I mean, sure, there's probably going to be some speculation just because we have our own cryptocurrency.
Yeah, of course.
But, you know, that's not us. That's not our goal.
Gotcha. Okay, well, just to change your pace slightly, what's grabbing your attention in the crypto space right
now? Well, the pricing. You know, since 2017, 2018, where everything just kind of went down to a large crash. I mean, I had my crypto and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to stop looking at it. And, you know, about 2 years later, still haven't looked at it. Of course, you know, after those 2 years, I looked at it, I'm like, what's going on? The price is skyrocketed. In fact, it doubled the all-time high with Bitcoin and Ethereum and all those big coins. So yeah, that easily grabs my attention. I mean, grabs everyone's attention. I mean, I'm seeing like Bitcoin ATMs at my local gas station where you can buy Bitcoin, and people are waiting in line to do it. Now, I don't understand why they would, because there's a huge premium there. They could just do it from, you know, someplace like Coinbase or Binance for much cheaper. But hey, you know, people, you know, they FOMO is strong. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a lack of knowledge, I guess. And, you know, might be the easiest way for that person to do it, but, you know, we've all got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
So in more general terms, looking at the blockchain technology today, how do you plan to leverage your business in this space?
Well, I guess that's a question that kind of maybe directed more towards the type of blockchain we intend on having. It's going to be sort of private and public. It's basically, in other words, it's the permission blockchain, where we have our financial institutions that we work with can be running probably no more than 30 to 40% of the nodes, while the rest we want, you know, the public to be able to do. In fact, I believe there's a way to build a blockchain to where it's the fastest speed possible. It's going to be somewhere between, you know, having, you know, your centralized nodes like 30, 40% held by the financial institutions, and then mixed combination of master nodes and staking, and at the same time, you know, verification from the users of the apps themselves, right? Because there's kind of, you know, there's cryptocurrency that you know, do each of those three, but I don't think there's one that actually does all of them. And I believe that will also be the most stable blockchain there's going to be. So just kind of reiterate, you've got your centralized nodes, you know, not enough to hold more than 50% ever. Then you've got your master nodes and your staking, and you have, you know, verification of transactions done every time somebody sends funds through from people, you know, using the app, right? It obviously can't take up too much of the battery power, but it'll be a quick something, quick verification. And, I believe that, well, one, people who are running master nodes and staking is going to get something out of it. And, everything about it is just going to be smooth and fast and hopefully very, very stable. So.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's all exciting stuff. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where Vendit goes and what comes out in the future. So, hey, thanks very much for sharing your time. I know your time's precious, but I really appreciate the chat today.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you, Trent.
Good on you, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching the Blockchain Chronicles. If you like anything that you heard today, please give the video a thumbs up. If you want to contribute to the conversation that was had between the guests, leave a comment below and we'd love to get your thoughts. Also, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll get notified every time that we upload, which we are looking to do a couple times a week. So make sure you don't miss out. So once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the future. Bye.